What is going on? What is going on? Welcome to the Digital Cypha podcast. I'm your host, Ebonics, alongside with Dio Zales and the Don CJG. Dio, what is going on? How you doing?
Doing great. Had a good week. Playing a lot of Fortnite, level 95. Got my Predator outfit in it.
Oh
Not too
wow.
bad.
Man, I remember playing Fortnite with this guy. Dio knows what something happened and then Dio gone missing.
Tio's got missing.
Yeah, it was a rough moment.
Oh no.
It was a rough moment. So to see him back on there means that something as good is happening. Um, Talk to us, Dio. What's happening? What's been happening to you this week?
Besides work, been playing Fortnite with the kids. You know, just trying to find something new to play. But I just keep going back to old games like Oblivion and Dragon Age. There's nothing really new that's piqued my interest.
I saw you on that Oblivion. How is it being on next gen Xbox Series X?
Um, it's definitely a little bit smoother. I wouldn't say anything too noticeable, but it's nice just playing old stuff and then seeing like how they compare this stuff now. An easier game to compare that to would be like Cyberpunk and everything like that was the choices and the RP aspect of it. But
Nice,
overall, just looking for something new, but
nice.
still haven't found it.
Don CJG, what's going on? How was
Hi,
your week?
hi, how you doing?
What's
I'm good. I'm coming with energy today. uh, you know how hyped I was this morning.
Something about that laugh makes me laugh. I don't know what it
Look,
is.
it's contagious. The good kind of contagious, not the bad kind.
So what's up? What's up? How you been?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I haven't played too much this week. I've been playing like Halo 5.
Yeah,
But you know me every day.
yeah.
And we played some Road Company. But,
Okay,
that was
okay. We
that was
gotta
a,
we,
that
we
was a
gotta
little
we gotta
thing.
save on that for a minute. You gotta save on that for a minute. So Halo 5. A lot of people jump back into Halo this coming weeks. Why is that? I mean, you have some info on Halo and maybe the achievements and something that's gonna happen when you go into Infinite. Like, what's going on?
Well, in December they showed finally what the max rank reward. If you get Halo 5, you get to max ranks 152. Right, there's 152 levels, and the first 150 is like the halfway point. So the next two levels, like doing the first 150 over again. But they
Dang.
finally showed off some of those rewards, and people are like, "I want some of that. I want some of that."
What's the rewards?
You're getting a weapon skin, you get an armor skin. There's a lot of other stuff they haven't showed, but it's proper. I think right now there's less than 4,000 people who are max rank in that game.
So let me ask you this. So that max rank and the rewards, is it Halo Infinite rewards or is it Halo 5 Guardians
It's
rewards?
the rewards will be for infinite,
Okay.
so
Is
only
it
those players who get it will get those rewards.
for someone who's not into Halo? I'm not saying I'm not, but anyone that's listening who may not be into Halo and they just want to try it out, is it worth getting the rewards once Halo Infinite comes out?
I mean, they could try and get it. It's gonna be a long road.
I mean,
um,
yeah, go ahead.
it's gonna be a long road. I mean, look, it's something cool and interesting. I think if someone's never played Halo before, you're making a big commitment to try and go in there and get it. Like, most people won't know what it is, but all the hardcore players be like, "Oh snap, you got that!" It's like
What
it's a
did you
symbol
get?
of recognition.
What did you get?
Well, obviously we all get the same thing.
Well, first and foremost, this is going to be a spoiler for somebody who's trying to work for it and trying to be surprised. So if you want to be surprised by getting a reward in Halo Guardians, Halo 5 Guardians, um, plug it is now. But from my understanding, everybody's looking for that game. And Halo 5, well, any of the Halo franchises right now is being played by, Halo fanatics and
Yeah.
just people returning back to, their their first game on Xbox. So I don't think this would be major news. But again, if you are trying to be surprised and hit that 152 and then be like, oh, I got this, then okay.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
it's been like,
Go ahead.
yeah, I think figures of Halo now. It's an interesting little spotlight. A lot of the people who are playing it are either there's two audiences. You got the brand new people who are just jumping on for the first time, or you got people who've been around for a long time and they've been playing it forever.
Gotcha.
With MCC being supported, like I think they got a new season coming out end of this month. So they're bringing up content from stuff like Halo Reach, what never even got released in the full game. They're going straight through the archives, and
that's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy what the stuff they've done. So that's been fun, man, and it's been good to get back on the game with the community.
Cool. And you have like a guild of sorts with Halo, right?
Yeah. So you got spawn companies, and they're up to 100 people. We're like the one I'm part of. Unity, shout out.
Unity.
Yeah. In Halo 5, you had this thing called like Achilles armor, and it was one of these things where your whole company, you have to do these insane challenges, like get like 100,000 melee kills and headshots and AI kills. It was crazy, and I think we were 6 days behind the first company to ever got it. You know what I mean? So we were like one of the top groups, man. And it's crazy to get the team back on. And even on Halo Waypoint, the Halo website, we're getting fire teams running and people from there, and just kind of expanding the community a little bit. It's been fun.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're 5 minutes into the podcast, and just want to, as I would say back home, we want to big up the people in the chat room. First is Connor, welcome, and Jen is also part of that crew, I would assume. Don?
Yeah, man.
Yep. Welcome to the podcast. So he's the Don CJG on that the Halo 5, and Dio's been on Oblivion and Fortnite. This week I've been on Final Fantasy 14. I want to big up Pandit Productions. Very unique group, very casual, but still hardcore in some ways. Very funny, and in some ways as well. But very adamant on gameplay, on teammanship, on leveling, on dungeoning, and everything. So I want to big those guys up. We'll have one of those people visit the show or come on the show sometime in the future. But just want to give reference. Playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14 for a couple of weeks. Jump back on this week as well, trying to level up. But that's me. That's what I've been doing. Other than that, Hot Pursuit, Need for Speed, trying to wreck fools up, with the cops and robbers type joint.
Yeah, man.
I'm just saying, jump back into Cyberpunk. Play a little bit after.
I still haven't done that.
It's okay. It's okay. I think with Cyberpunk they're just going through a balancing situation more than anything. So if you're expecting like a graphical boost and stuff like that, I wouldn't expect that. I think they're trying to balance out PlayStation 4 and Xbox Xbox One, I should say. So those are for the people who still have the game, who did not do a refund. And speaking of, Cyberpunk dropped price to like $35 or something like that.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
crazy.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's bad for what's going on, but at the same time, if you drop it to like $30 and then you make a couple million more sales, that just tells the company like, hey, we gotta continue working on it, because if nobody's interested in it, they're just gonna go on and make what is it, Witcher 4. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There was another update last night for Cyberpunk. If you guys didn't download it yet.
Yes, I think I did see that on Twitter.
Yep. So that's what we've been up to. So what we got going on this week?
What don't we have going on, guys?
Go ahead, Don. Go ahead. You're itching.
I mean, should we just address the elephant in the room straight away? Should we just go for it? Like,
wait. You can't be talking about me, right? Hold on.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to break the news to you, Bonix. You know what I mean?
Go ahead. What's up?
Xbox Live had some hiccups, huh?
Oh god.
Yeah.
That was a thing.
Oh, that was the elephant. All right. So
Oh boy.
the price went double for a year subscription.
Mm-hmm.
I get why they're trying to do it, but that was where they are right now. That would have been the worst thing to do. Like right now, they're looking good, right? I mean, yeah, Sony exclusives, whatever. It is what it is. But to say $120, that's kind of a punch to people who are not really into Game Pass yet. Let's look at it this way. What if Microsoft said to Nintendo, we would like to collaborate, right? And Nintendo says, we don't want Game Pass, we want Xbox Live. Because then they can play with each other, and I think it's already on Nintendo Switch, right? Xbox Live.
I think there
with
is some
Minecraft?
crossplay between, but yeah.
I don't believe so.
I think it's Xbox Live specifically. I think you can kind of tie your Xbox account to your Nintendo account somehow. Something like that.
I think it depends on the game. Yeah, 'cause I know I could do that with Minecraft Dungeons
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering about
and
that.
Minecraft.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you imagine like, okay, Xbox Live may be like the underlying foundation for games to be cross-platform outside of something like Unreal Engine, not Unreal Engine, but Epic Games doing their cross-play. You're right. So you have to subscribe to Unreal, or you have to subscribe to Steam to do some form of cross-play. If Xbox Live could be that, right? But to then shove it underneath the rug and say you play 120, and people will be like, oh man, I don't want to pay 120, I'll just pay $15 for Game Pass and then I'll be good. I think they got a completely different response than what they were expecting. Go ahead, Don, what were you expecting? What happened?
Yeah, so obviously they announced last night they were basically doubling the price for everything on gold. So that'd be $60 to $120 a year, which at first, like, for me, from my perspective, as someone who's got Game Pass Ultimate stacked for like a couple of years, I wasn't really too bothered by it personally. But after a bit of thinking, it's like, okay, you kind of realize that look at the great implication everybody else who's not in my position. It's a bit like, ooh, that's a big barrier to entry, man. And especially like all the goodwill Microsoft and Xbox have been garnering over the last year or two, and all the good work. I feel like they've kind of just threw it away a little bit last night, and it was really just like, how did they get to this decision?
I guess I want to add some good news. I don't know if you guys know, but they already reversed their plan.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, that was something again. They did reverse that, and it was
All right.
But it's the fact that they thought this was a thing that we're gonna do.
Yeah.
It's just like how you you look at, it's just insanity. Like the Xbox and PC, it's free to play. If there's a free to play game on there, you don't have to pay. Fortnite or whatever, Halo Infinite for a good example. And then you're looking at now, if you're coming into Xbox ecosystem, you're already paying, I don't know, £450 for a new console, plus £120 for a year membership if you don't go for the all access with monthly payments. So I get they want to put you into Game Pass, but I feel like it was definitely kind of strong arming them, and it felt very like anti-consumer and a bit kind of felt like a very corporate move from Microsoft, which we're not really used to seeing. I feel like they've always been very consumer friendly, and then last night it felt a bit weird that they'd done that. But I did, the turnaround time for them kind of reversing it and taking a U-turn and saying, okay, that's on us. We made a mistake.
Well,
yeah.
It almost feels weird.
I'll be honest with you. This reminded me of the Connect vibe.
Yeah.
Right? but but Microsoft was so adamant about Kinect that they stuck with it up until Phil Spencer came into position. So this is unusual. This is core business practice if you want to get rid of a product, end of life type of situation. Either you take it off or you increase the price so nobody wants it type vibe. But this is the fastest I've seen a corporation. This is the
No
fastest I've seen a corporation do a complete 360.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I
the
mean?
weird thing to me. How quick it was to respond to that. It almost felt like it was almost throwaway. Right? Like they didn't really care. They just wanted to see if they could get away with it or not. You know what I mean?
Actually,
Like, I don't know.
I rebuttal that. I don't think it's weird under recoup, right? Based on community outcry. I think it's actually like great because that lets you know the people were listening, the people were understanding, and they just say, you know what, the 120, we can't do it. We're gonna get slammed again for the next year. We don't want that. Poof, we dropped it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at it,
Yeah.
they could have said we were going to stick by it, but that would be again anti-consumer, as you guys mentioned. But to stay true to what they believed in, and that's we're for the community, and they have been community driven since the launch of Series X with everything Phil Spencer was doing. I would not be surprised if Phil Spencer picked up the phone and be like, what the heck are you guys doing?
Yeah. Right?
Who posted this? You know what I'm saying?
Like Phil was asleep in his bed or tucked away. He had to click the big red button.
He's like all the hard work I did and you guys did this? Like what?
You're right.
Oh, like wow. But yeah, man. Again, I don't think it's a weird thing. I think it's common business practice. We just don't see it because we're other people see it. Like for instance, fashion, jewelry, and brands and things like that. You see it in the areas of those specific things, but in gaming, we're still new to these business practices and how sales works and stuff like that. It's just recently we got into LODs and ray tracing and all the technical terms for both PC and for gaming. Like now it's becoming a common practice to understand these things. But still having monetary ties to what is being done in gaming, we're still new. We're still building. So, but yeah, I agree. That was a interesting move from Microsoft on both sides of the fence.
Right.
Awesome.
I guess one good thing though out of it was that how Don was saying, like, now those free to play games are pretty much free for everybody to play, even if they don't have a sub to Xbox Live. So that's kind of nice.
Wait, what? Wait,
Yeah.
did I?
That was part of it. They basically said like the problem what people made was that to even play free to play games you still need gold.
Yes.
So they weren't really free to play. But now they're saying you don't have to be a gold member to access these free to play games. So you could just buy an Xbox, have an internet connection, and you can jump on Xbox Live. You can jump on Fortnite, Halo Infinite when it comes out, Call of Duty Warzone, whatever game, the real company. You don't need to be. Obviously, you're not going to be able to access things like I don't even know what you don't get if you don't have gold. I've never been in that situation. You don't have friends lists or whatever.
Hold up. What? Okay, so
Yeah.
are we hearing right now? Oh, let me ask Deal. Deal, is Roblox free to play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know I was putting Roblox on for one of the girls in the house, and on the PC, oh man, they were playing like it was day and night. But then when I put it on the Xbox, it's kind of like, oh, Xbox Live sub. I was like, what? I'm signed in Xbox Live sub. I was like,
yeah. That's the thing. Is like there was a disparity between PC and Xbox. PC basically had it all free, and Xbox didn't.
But here's the thing with that, and I want to add, consoles, except for Final Fantasy 11, Neverwinter, and Final Fantasy 14. I'm talking just consoles altogether. I think this last 5 to 10 years, we're not used to MMOs or free to play games.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was more of a PC thing. So to see these type of games coming in, and they are free to, like for instance, Neverwinter was a free to play game on PC. Neverwinter, the guys from Neverwinter say, hey, we're porting this over to Xbox and PlayStation. So it comes over to Xbox and PlayStation on free to play, but then the disparity happens. Oh, you're playing with multiple people? You still need Xbox Live. PlayStation, they dropped that. They didn't,
Yeah.
not sure what happened. You know what I'm saying? But they drop that and they say, hey, if it's free, it's free. It is what it is. So, but just the idea of MMOs, is still pretty new to console. Because a lot of, like, let's look at ESO. Dio can attest. Like, the majority of the people who understand MMOs in ESO are PC players who came from PC to Xbox or to PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Like, the newbies are still just trying to understand, like me, the DPS, the the trolling and everything else. Everything else. I mean, trust me, I jumped in that game and I played the game wrong. I played solo. I didn't care for any. It was an experience to see people running up and down with me. It was awesome. You know what I'm saying? But how people interact without using words, how people ready check and use a chat system and stuff like that. I was like, what the heck? I'm not gonna use that. Like, keep playing. I'm being yelled at on the chat and be like, dude, calm down. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, come join. I was like, what the heck? So I didn't even know what the join button is. But times have changed. Consoles have changed. Genres have changed. And now people are becoming more attuned. And now Microsoft is seeing there's a need to have this free-to-play model. Now, did the $120 fix the problem? Maybe. But, man, I must say.
I think it just goes with just sales figures, too, because you have to imagine, I mean, free-to-play games are not really free-to-play, right? They have plenty of microtransactions.
Mhm.
So they have to see the numbers that, you know what, we'll give these guys free games to play, but they're still going to end up spending money because just the nature of free-to-play games. And then eventually, when they get kind of tired of playing these free-to-play games, they're going to get the Xbox Live so they can play better MMOs like, ESO or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me being kind of like, conspiracy theorist, but
What?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
in the end, they make out either way,
We got flat Xbox Live. Oh, no.
So I'm calling out on Connor. He says, I am an Xbox fanboy and I was absolutely livid. The move actually made me panic, and but 3 12-month Xbox Live codes for $40 and then activate Game Pass Ultimate and do the conversion. I doubt I'm the only one. I saw comments from other people Reddit who did the same. When I got Ultimate, I actually purchased I did the year, so I paid $60, and then I did the $1 Ultimate, and I got 2 years for free on Ultimate.
Yeah, same.
Right. So there is this little bit of a conversion, cheesy way to go in, but I don't know. Question is, did you enjoy the trial? That's the question. All right, so got a question for you guys. LucasArts. Is LucasArts still owned by George Lucas, or is that Disney?
Ooh.
I believe it's Disney.
What I mean.
I want to say Disney.
I'm not talking about the movies. I'm talking about.
No, I know what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I think they have everything now, just global rights.
So I had the pleasure of listening to another podcast. The podcast is Real Deal Xbox. Love the podcast, by the way. I'm not throwing out anybody to check them out. This is just somebody I like listening to. And they had a very long discussion.
Okay.
on Xbox and the situation with with Indiana Jones. Now, uh, I'm not gonna go in depth about it unless the chat. I mean, unless the chat and the conversation leads to it. But EA used to be the only people who can do
Yep.
Star Wars.
Mhm.
Now, there's word to believe that LucasArts, Disney, and excuse the screaming and crying here because it got kids over there, but LucasArts have shifted to Ubisoft and Xbox, right? And people are
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, what happened to EA? Is EA done?" And some people really believe that EA no longer is, or no longer will be working on Star Wars. There has been an article that is out there, and I have to find it, but it's out there that says that there is still partnership with EA. EA is not done with, or LucasArts or gaming is not done with EA. They still have the people who made the Fallen Order, and that's a great game. So why shift
Mhm.
that? But the 10-year plan or the 10-year contractual agreement, I think, is done either this year or next year. One of the so there is that play where now
Yeah.
they can contend with Microsoft and with Ubisoft. You know, go ahead, Dio.
So EA doesn't have exclusivity anymore. And it only makes sense that Disney's not going to completely take it away from them because they have that really successful mobile game from EA. Um, it's one of those kind of gotcha games with Star Wars, and it makes a ton of money. So
Oh, well.
there's no way, yeah, there's no way they would just completely cut off EA. They'll probably just keep them there just to maintain that game,
Mm-hmm.
and reach out to other developers, just like how you're saying Ubisoft and to like Microsoft.
Yeah.
I think they just plan on just licensing, and that's it. I don't think they really want anything else to do with that besides that, and they don't want to narrow themselves down just because they see how a lot of gamers are pretty anti EA, and I think they kind of want to
Yeah.
just spread it out because they're really limiting their sales that way. Because you have people who will straight up not buy EA no matter what it is. Even if it's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's it. I think especially
mhm.
going for spreading out developers who are like Ubisoft and EA. I think for me, I think we'll probably see a continuation of Star Wars Battlefront. That's pretty popular FPS from them.
Probably, yeah.
But I think giving it different developers and they can each kind of take their own take on that Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Ubisoft doing an open world, and goodness knows who else they might end up licensing to. But I think there's a lot of opportunity to kind of spread their wings a little bit with the Star Wars franchise, especially since the movies aren't really around as much anymore.
Well, believe it or not, since EA have gone to Game Pass with a lot of their games, a lot of people has found Battlefront to be a very okay game to play as far as the story and multiplayer. The second is it the second one with the girl?
The second
character?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second.
I found it pretty cool too, honestly. Yeah, just story mode. I haven't jumped into multiplayer, so there is room for improvement because of that second release. The second release got some form of flack for some reason. I'm not sure. And
I think it was microtransactions at the beginning of the game.
okay.
Yeah,
I think
little
they
boxes.
Yeah, they were just atrocious.
And
I think
no-
people could like pre-order for like certain characters like Darth Vader or whatever,
yeah.
but then you still have to like pay. You have to pay. You pre-ordered to get access to be able to pay for that character.
Wow.
So it's something like that, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and people did the math, and they saw that you needed like thousands of dollars just to be able to
Mhm.
get stuff that you wanted, and just not worth it.
That is crazy. That is nonsense. I can see why people
Yeah,
did,
it was-
I can see why people didn't even give it a chance because of the
Yeah.
the financial issue. So,
Yeah.
but so and there's one thing that was talked about that really got me thinking, because we talked about, it's funny when we talk on this show, sometimes we talk and we predict what next week's conversations are going to be for everybody else. I'm not saying that whatever, but all I'm saying is, so we had a discussion about Indiana Jones last week,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
And and there was when listening to these guys, they were saying, hey, people are not really interested in Indiana Jones. And I think Deal, you also mentioned that you wasn't interested in it either because it's practically ancient at this point, for us who've seen every movie. So to bring that back, we have a nostalgic memory of what that could be, and it's kind of like, no, but good points were made, like Tomb Raider and Uncharted
yep.
were games that were heavily inspired by Indiana Jones as a franchise. Could we see something revolutionary within the Indiana Jones lore being brought? Because they are doing the original story. It is what it is. But could we see something that Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider has never done in not Indiana Jones, Uncharted. Right. Can we see something never done in Indiana Jones upcoming, or is Indiana Jones so set in stone with his lash, with his, that it's done? Any thoughts on that?
So
yeah, I think. Go ahead in this one, bro.
Well, I was thinking, just since the story is set in stone that they're gonna revamp the older stuff, the best thing they could do with that is not try to do too much of their own thing, revamping it, because you see that same problem with Disney remaking old animated movies into these new live ones like Mulan and Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, where they take the originals that are perfect pretty much, they remake them trying to add new songs or change things around, and it just messes it up completely. People get pissed off. What they need to do is leave it alone, the story, and worry about the game mechanics themselves. I think if they can find like a way to make it fun, like Tomb Raider and Uncharted, and then maybe add something new that those two games haven't done yet mechanically, that's what's gonna, I think, make it set it apart and actually be a console seller. Whether they do it or not, I kind of doubt it, just because they're gonna play it safe, I think.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I can agree with that. So I think it's still
Yeah, sorry.
it's a case of like maintaining the integrity of what Indiana Jones is, or sorry, was. Not really messing around with it too much, because people love Indiana Jones for what it is. It's a bit it's a bit cringy or cheesy at times, but it's fun. And I think they can just, like Dio said, it's all about gameplay at this point. The story is already there. You can maybe make some side plots later on if you make later games or whatnot. But it's really about the gameplay, man. That's what people look at. A game like Destiny, people love that game. They can come back to it. It's the gameplay loop, and I think obviously Indiana Jones being a single player game, it's a bit different, but just make it fun to play. I don't know what they plan to do with it, but I'm sure there's loads of puzzles and exploration they can do there. It's not like Indiana Jones is completely grounded in reality. There is some kind of mythical stuff in this as well.
Hey, Dio.
I think.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think what would be a smart move, in my opinion, would be to kind of take aspects of Tomb Raider and Uncharted, but kind of mix it with Breath of the Wild. Kind of give you the way to like climb and glide and all that kind of stuff. If they kind of mix the two, I think that would actually be a good way to approach it. Like I said, I don't think they will, because they're gonna play it safe. But I think if they did it reasonably, where it still felt realistic to a degree, but a little bit of kind of like that power fantasy, they could probably get away with it. But what were you about to say? Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, and you got that whip, so when you hit that person, they come here,
Yep.
Yeah.
Or even for traveling,
Yeah, I was gonna say for traversal, you could do
Tomb
some
Raider
cool
had
things
that
with it.
though. Tomb Raider had that.
Yeah.
I think it was the third one where she can swing between trees or something.
Yeah, it's like a pickaxe kind of thing or something.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to see.
So here's the thing. Bethesda and Xbox, there's also that conversation where exclusivity is heavily talked about still in social media.
Mm-hmm.
Dio, do you think that Bethesda should make their games triple be a third party? Even though belonging to Xbox, they should continue to be third person.
I think that with established franchises like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, yes, because you already have that community that's built. I think with new IPs, there should definitely be some that are console sellers for Xbox and Microsoft that will just always be, you know, exclusive. But something like Indiana Jones, I know it's supposed to be exclusive. I don't, in my opinion, I don't think it should. I think that's kind of a weird thing, not only on Microsoft and Bethesda's part, but I think even for you know, Disney. I don't see why Disney would want them to sell it exclusively. You know,
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised about that.
I see. I wouldn't mind it being exclusive if the game can prove to be successful as an exclusive game. Here's why I mean. Here's why I say that. If the game can contend with Uncharted, then it should be exclusive. If the game can contend with if it can compete with Tomb Raider and Uncharted, I think it should be exclusive, because it's brand new. Yes, it's Disney, but if exclusivity wasn't discussed, I think Microsoft should take the lead on that, and then we move forward from there. Here's why: because it's still coming to that situation where the position that Microsoft is in, or Xbox. You have Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and I think they have like another game that is like a canon, but it's not Nathan Drake. It's like two girls or whatever that you play with, I guess. They have 4 games that they can play, and then PlayStation recycles that game into like a triple pack and puts it on the store, right? So we know those games are successful. Look at what's the other game? The one with zombies and stuff.
Days Gone.
Days Gone. There's Days Gone, and there's another one. With a girl.
State of Decay.
The girl. Paige.
Oh, I'm
girl.
sorry.
They look like Paige.
Yeah.
I forgot her name. They have two. They go through this adventure, right? Surviving, and you get emotionally connected to these people. You know what I'm saying? And then when the game is done, it's kind of like, man, that was an adventure. I feel full playing the game. And to me, it's kind of like that's where they should take it, to where it's an emotional connection. It's like you're the character. You know that, okay, you're playing as Indiana Jones, but the decisions you make is of your own, right? Not taken away from the story, but making it more impactful for you to play, or
kind
more
of like a
nostalgic.
Mass Effect, kind of Mass Effect Indiana Jones type of game.
I don't know if I should we should put Mass Effect to that, man. I mean, we're talking about Dio. Dio's in the conversation. He's gonna smash that idea in half. I don't. Is it possible to have something like Oblivion or Skyrim decision making in Indiana Jones?
I think the only reason it wouldn't mesh well is because then it wouldn't be that same story. And like I said, I personally feel they shouldn't mess with the story at all. Just find ways to make the mechanics interesting and fun. And then if they want to do the next game that way, where it's a completely new story, or even if they want to do it like that for side quests, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. The only thing I still really kind of have a problem with exclusivity is that there's still like some games like from the old Xbox and 360 that were great, right? But they were quote unquote exclusive, but we still can't play them now just because of licensing issues. And I could kind of see this kind of going down the same road. So even if it's exclusive now, let's say 10 years from now we had like whatever the new Xbox is or whatever, we might not get that backwards compatibility because of licensing. So it still wouldn't even matter to us,
So
later.
You don't think that because of what Game Pass is going through right now, there aren't any new legal contracts being made to continue software reusability, if you will? Like, if the game, like let's say it's exclusive now and 10 years later, it's still playable on regardless of what console you're on or platform because it is Microsoft agreement with LucasArts. You know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah, I mean-
Microsoft bend over backwards to get these games in on Game Pass.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
So-
have a weird theory. I don't know how much ground it's gonna hold.
Okay.
But it's something I just kind of thought about, and we're kind of talking about Disney and Microsoft a lot, and I'm thinking, obviously, we don't know if it's going to Indiana Jones be exclusive or not. It's kind of hard to tell. But then I also think of it's not like Microsoft and Disney don't already have deals in place.
Mhm.
Look at Game Pass Ultimate; you're already getting Disney Pluses with that.
Right.
There are deals in place, and I think Indiana Jones could potentially be a toe in the water to see where that goes. Maybe it's timed exclusive for a little bit. I don't know, but
True.
I think it's not like a newly forged relationship from my eyes.
Well, all I know is once the initiative drops the bomb, I think a lot of heads in the industry is gonna change. Not really gamers per se, because outside of those who are inside, and what I mean by inside, like they know how things are done. Like Dio, you know how MMOs are done, right? You know how RPGs are done, and stuff like that. You've put time into this stuff, as well as Don, you play a lot of first person shooter games, and you were involved in a lot of beta practices and stuff like that with Halo and other stuff, Call of Duty, how we've and Tom Clancy Ghost Recon, you know what I'm saying? Like, you understand certain things, so like when things come out, you look at them and you see how they're operating, and you're like, I'll wait and I'll wait for a minute. When the initiative drops, right? We're talking about the best of everybody in the industry that Microsoft could acquire.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering if exclusivity would be a situation at that point, because it's going to be a situation to where how can we get in on this studio or studios who are having this talent? Because when you look at Microsoft game publishing and all the studios that are involved, they all breathe the same language at this point. They all share the same information. They're all helping each other create games. They're not like, oh, we're just gonna make this game is gonna outbeat Halo, or it's gonna outbeat Forza Horizon, or it's gonna kill the new game that Initiative is making. They're all looking at each other. It's like, man, that content, that shader, that material is awesome. How can I get that? Oh, just plug into this, channel, and then we have all this stuff here. Just make sure that your game supports this texture. Because everybody, they makes games differently. Breath of the Wild with Skyrim character running around is not gonna look good. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, as long as the same tools. I mean, look at Bethesda. They have their engine that they've been developing, and now it's underneath Microsoft's wing. We don't even know what Initiative's using, but we do know that Unreal Engine is like one of the most used engine outside of Havoc, which is another engine owned by Microsoft. Everybody's using the same tools, so it's an interesting situation to see once these games come out, how the industry is going to shape towards Microsoft games, because Microsoft is a genre-based console. PlayStation is a single player based console with the option of these intricate games. It's like you can pick and choose which one you want to play, right?
Yeah.
But at the core front of PlayStation is single player that I can see.
I'd agree with that. They don't really have like a big kind of FPS or multiplayer title.
I think they shut down Shadowrun. No, Shadowrun. What's the name of the game? Dio, you remember? It was the guys with the freaky helmets.
Killzone?
Killzone. Yeah, they shut that one down.
Yeah. They don't.
They didn't have to.
They don't have exclusive
No,
Destiny
The player
anymore.
base did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Dang. But yeah, man. What do you got, Dio? What you got going on? What's happening on your front?
Whoa, I mean, you know how I like to look at my stocks. I kind of feel bad because we were talking about this like a month or two ago when
Uh.
Microsoft acquiring GameStop, and like look at the stocks now,
They did
man.
not acquire GameStop.
Right?
They did not
Oh,
acquire
they
GameStop.
didn't.
They
It didn't go
partnered.
through.
They partnered.
Partnered. Okay.
They did not acquire. So
Okay.
here's what I think you already know, but I'm just gonna repeat. Microsoft and GameStop partnered. Microsoft provides Azure services, specific services to GameStop to improve their core business functionality and like sales and all this kind of stuff, right? Microsoft also gives, I'm not sure if it's the people in GameStop or people in corporate, no clue. But from what I've understood or heard is that the Surface Pro tablets or whatever is also provided to them, right? Okay.
Yep.
Now, when you buy a game from GameStop, right? GameStop gets a cut. No, sorry. When you buy a console from GameStop, GameStop gets a cut. When you buy games from the console that you got from GameStop, GameStop gets a commission from the games you purchase on the Microsoft Store from your console.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So we're clear. Now here's the thing that I just understood. Sony did the same thing way back in the
Really?
day. Yes.
Hmm.
PlayStation
Huh.
3.
Ah.
They gave away PlayStation 3s way back then. And we're talking about GameStop here. We're not talking about anybody else. So we can see a little bit of where the console war came from, because when PlayStation 3 when PlayStation did it during the PlayStation 3 time frame, and they're putting and GameStop put all the PlayStations up front, right? And all the people are saying, get your PlayStations. They're the best. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? We're starting to see a trend. So now Microsoft is doing it. Now Microsoft is not saying go buy an Xbox. They're saying go get Game Pass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when you go to GameStop, you're gonna see a whole bunch of green.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I wish I bought GameStop stock when we were talking about it a few months ago.
Bro,
I wish my stock sold GameStop.
bro, I'm telling you, they're sitting at $61 right now.
Yeah, man.
And
Because
yesterday they were.
I think at the time when we were talking about it, I think it was only like $4 or $5 or something.
It was
crazy low like that. Yeah.
Yep, and it was weird because right after the acquisition, they were like between $5 and $10, somewhere in there, and then right after, I think a month later, it blew up to 20 something dollars, and I was like, okay, get in. I got in, and then it went back down to 15. Like, they're gonna crash it.
Yeah,
Sell,
there's that
sell.
little dip.
And then I saw it go back up to 30. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick, because I made my mistake with AMD. AMD
Okay.
was $10, bro. $10.
I know.
Now they're like $95 per stock.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm not doing this again. I am not doing this again. So I'm sticking my guns with GameStop as far as financials is concerned. But
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So where were we when you was talking about that actually in the beginning? You were saying something about Microsoft.
At that time period or now?
Now you was mentioning something. You were talking about something specific. I guess with stock, right?
Yeah, I just kind of wish I bought in at the time. That's really about it with that.
Gotcha. What else you got?
I mean, talking about like, well, this is more of a merger. Like, you heard about Blizzard like getting Vicarious Visions, right?
Who is Vicarious Visions? I understand that are they Crash Bandicoot people or something like?
So they worked originally for Activision. So
Mhm.
they pretty much do like the remasters and the remakes. Like they did the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 that just came out.
Okay.
They did the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. So a lot of people are wondering, oh, are these guys gonna help with Diablo 4? Are they gonna help with Overwatch or Hearthstone? And I think honestly, if Blizzard is smart, which they are most of the time anyway, I think that they're gonna have these guys, since they do mostly remakes. I think they're gonna probably like remake games like Diablo 2 and Diablo 1,
Mm-hmm.
and possibly remake the old Warcraft games before World of Warcraft, because they remade Warcraft 3 and it came out terrible.
Wow.
So I think that
Mm.
might be their plan with this. Re-release these old games that people want to play now with remastered graphics and everything. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Obviously, I don't handle those decisions, but that would make the most sense to me. So you might see some of these old school like Blizzard games come onto the console. Also, I think that's also why they want their experience, because they have experience releasing these remasters on the console. I mean, if I had to guess, that's what I'm taking away from it.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Activision Blizzard situation ever since they made that move. Um, Anybody that goes from one platform to the other, to me, is kind of suspicious to me. Kind of like if it's kind of like they call one person daddy and then they call the next person daddy and then they what I'm saying, like I
Oh
don't
no.
know. I don't it's kind of weird to me. So I yeah. Quick question though, what happened to the new Diablo game that you were psyched about? There was a little bit of news with that
Diablo
one.
4.
Yeah.
They're releasing like little updates here and there. Nothing crazy recently. I mean, we still have a ways out before that comes out. I know Diablo Immortal's been running a beta test. That's the mobile game that everyone was upset was gonna get launched, but that's looking
Oh,
actually
I remember
pretty
that
good.
announcement.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was pretty pissed when they launched that too. Like, I mean, you had a fan in the crowd of BlizzCon saying, "Is this an early April Fool's joke?" and everything. That's how upset
I
people were.
remember I saw a video about that.
Bro, that's what they thought about Gears Tactics and Gears
Yeah,
Pop
right.
and Gears Pop.
Yeah.
Pop
Yeah, I
Pop.
remember
Gears Tactics was
Pop.
actually good.
Yeah,
Gears Tactics was actually pretty
that
good.
was a moment.
I did buy a bunch of Blizzard stock after that because like it dropped so hard
Oh,
and then it
really?
rolls back up.
Dang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was about to check
yeah,
it.
he'll bounce.
I was about to check it too.
Yeah, at that time that was like what 2 years now, right?
Dang.
Something like that.
Well,
I mean, I don't know if you guys play PUBG, but I know that they had that reputation level.
did you
Yeah,
try
you
it?
know what?
New feature.
Funny you mentioned PUBG. I just re-downloaded that the other day.
Okay.
And how was
I
it?
was I haven't played it yet, but I've had the I've had the hunger to get back into the PUBG again.
Okay.
Sounds like something we should try. The three of
I
us.
think we should give it a shot again. It's been a while. I don't know what that game's like anymore. Last time I
I've
played it
still
was a
never
long
played
time
it.
ago.
You guys
No way.
Yeah, I've never played it, so
Dude.
I think the reputation level thing, like I'm looking at it and it doesn't really. It's to help prevent like toxic players from matching up with other players, but
Hmm.
I don't honestly think that's really gonna do anything because you can't get a negative score. You could only just not level up. So like when you finish a match with somebody, you can rate them, and you can give them either a 0 to 5. And obviously, the more points you get, the more positive your reputation builds. But I mean, you can't have a negative reputation, so I don't see.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still kind of cheat the system that way. So I don't really think this is gonna help them the way they think it's gonna help them. And not only that, I think. I mean, not to be a dick because I play more Fortnite, but I think they have bigger problems to worry about than reputation levels. I think they need to
Yeah.
find ways to make the game more engaging and attract more players. Because, I mean, their biggest competition is Fortnite, and Fortnite, honestly, as much
It's my
crap as
boy.
I gave the game in the beginning, it's constantly coming up with new updates and game modes and all kinds of nonsense to keep everybody happy and playing their game. I can see why. I could really see why people
They
keep
got
on
that
playing.
Epic Games funding, man.
Yeah, they do.
I think the problem with PUBG is just like it's the smaller studio in comparison. They just can't even.
Oh
keep on
yeah.
it.
I mean, it'd be nice if some of their other games got that Epic Game funding. I mean,
Right.
Dauntless is decent, but it doesn't get the same kind of support as Rocket League and Fortnite.
You guys on a whole different level with this Fortnite stuff. And PUBG. Woo. but I'm definitely interested in jumping into that game because there's another game that that was introduced this past week to my fellow Don CJG. Uh, you know, and that was Rogue Company.
Yes.
Okay.
Free to play.
Sir, tell me your experience.
Dude, you know what? I had no idea what this game was. I just saw you were streaming. I was like, all right, let me check this out.
Well,
And
I was
like,
streaming it early in the year. You know.
Really?
Yes, I was given a all access pass to the back end. I was doing it on PC. And then I think when it got released, it was still on PC, but then it got sent to Xbox like a couple months later. So, but yeah, but I was Dio. I was completely interested on Don's experience in this game. I'm gonna let him talk about it because I would give it away.
You know what? It really took me by surprise. I really like it. I really like it. Like, in terms of gameplay, it just works. You know, it's fun. Like, it's not too complicated. I think I've always had this kind of bias against shooters where you kind of class based, like Overwatch or Black Ops 3 was kind of the one that started off that. I hated Black Ops 3.
Okay.
But yeah, having these kind of class-based shooters, and it was interesting to kind of go into this, and I liked it. Like, Rogue Company just felt really smooth, and it was easy to use and play. I don't really know what the long-term goal is on that game. I don't really know what to grind for. What towards. Like, I wish there was some kind of I don't know, like season pass or something. Yeah, just something to kind of like go after when I'm playing. But I did really like it, and it was just I was good at it too.
So
it was fun to just stop popping.
Currently, the grind is for the characters.
Yeah.
The characters are super expensive.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I did notice that. Like, I think I spent maybe over time I was playing it the last few days. I spent maybe, I don't know, 6 hours playing. I only got like 6,000 currency, whatever the currency is.
Yeah.
And each character's like 15, 20k.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, sheesh, man.
And then you're like, okay. And when you look at the shop says, "Oh, become a founder or whatever," and you can get extra characters with skin or whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a founder, but somebody paid for my foundation. Okay. Anyways, so yeah.
So Rogue Company, that's from High Rise, right? Like the same people who did Smite.
Yes.
How do you compare like the quality of that to Smite? Because to me, Smite is like their biggest game.
I don't know. I don't like Smite. I'm not a gods type of person. I don't go by saying,
yeah, I never really
gods. You know what I'm saying? Like, really? Like, I found this is completely weird, and I'm no diss to anyone that does it, but it just completely throws me off when somebody talks, right? And then you catch them by surprise, and they turn around and like, by the gods. I'm like, dude. I was like, what? Are we hitting back to ancient Greece now? Like, what's going on? But the gameplay is very nice. It is a, what do you call it? It is a arena
Optimized?
style.
Oh, no,
It is it is optimized. It is optimized. You snorting over there, dude?
No.
Hidden nerd going
Dio,
on.
is that you?
It is a arena style third person shooter. Every character have their own special abilities, and I think their own gun as well.
Okay.
So there's one. Her name's Lancer, and her special ability is when you empower that ability, she runs super fast, but she is super quiet. You don't hear footsteps, so she's running around looking to whom she needs to kill. but you won't know where she's, because you can hear everybody. Everybody,
Yeah.
their
The
footsteps sounds
footsteps
like
are chunky in this game. It sounds like a tank's walking at me.
You hear it, but with her, you hear nothing. Absolutely nothing. Another one, Scorch. When you unleash her ability, she shoots flames, so you burn as you get shot. And her she has an SMG. So yes. What's it? Ronin is a female ninja type person.
Yes. Ronan's
So-
probably character I spend most time with.
Yeah, she's the base character, right?
Yeah.
Your trial character.
Okay.
I forgot what the guy's name is, but he has dreads and he's the healer. So if somebody
Yeah,
is
medic.
down, you use his power and then it sends out a healing drone, and the drone heals the person back while in the match. There's some other guys too. I think there's one guy who goes. I'm thinking X-Men now. I've completely.
There's a guy with a shield, everything. He put like
Yeah,
a big global
dude,
shield down.
I went X-Men. I was thinking about the guy who went completely like solid metal. I don't even think he's in the game.
No.
But when you think about it, like each character had their own special abilities, and it's almost as though they have their own lore. And I think Hi-Rez is making an actual lore for them as the game continues to be funded through the free-to-play aspect of it. So it's very good. I recommend anybody, if you just have nothing to do and you say, hey, let me play a game that's out there, and you just want to try something out, try Rogue Company. If you like third-person shooters but you don't want to play PUBG, try Rogue.
Yeah. It's a good game, man. I think
Very good.
I just wish that there was more to it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Okay. So
So you would compare it more to PUBG and like Fortnite, and not like Warframe.
Imagine
No.
if like PUBG or
No,
Fortnite was
not
like
Okay.
yeah.
It's like
Imagine it's like a
PvP.
third-person shooter.
it's all PvP. There's nothing.
Yeah,
more
there's
than
no
that.
battle royale to it. It's just
4v4.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's done by Hi-Rez, so they put some of the elements of Hi-Rez into it. So like in the beginning of the game, you choose a weapon of your arsenal. So each person have their own arsenal, and then you choose which arsenal you want to start off with, which weapon, which melee weapon.
a bit
what
like
buffs do you want to add?
Counter-Strike, right?
I don't know. You're asking me questions I know not.
Yeah, it's kind of Counter-Strike. Like you get money for getting kills and whatnot, and doing objectives.
Exactly. Well,
You kind of spend up
Okay.
money on your loadout and whatnot per match.
Okay.
yeah. Yep.
Okay. So they mix Fortnite with Smite then.
Yes, I would say
Got
that.
it.
I would say
Okay.
that. Yeah. If you do take your girls to play that game, I'm not sure if they would be interested, but let's say they are. I would start them off in the practice ones.
Training,
the training,
practicing.
because they're super stupid. Like, I mean, they come after you and they attempt to kill you, but their job is to help you understand the mechanics.
Yeah, no lie. I thought they were people for at one point. I thought I was pretty good at the game. It turned out they were just AI. I was like, oh.
Yeah, they do move a little bit. They do move a little bit like people, but when you think that they're gonna kill you, it's kind of like they mess up, and it's like, oh, dude, like really, like.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm doing so many clutch kills right now. I'm so good. And then I found out it's AI. I was like, oh no.
His Halo cred is gone.
Right. I thought I was like god of this game.
So, anything else that we got? Anything you guys got from this week? You guys want to continue?
Not for me personally.
Gotcha.
Nah.
Cool. Well, guys, that is it. Thank you so much for visiting again. Jen, for listening to us, and Connor, definitely hitting up in the chat, regarding the things that you believe in, things that you wanted to, for us to know as well. Question would be, are you using Game Pass trial? If you're using the Game Pass trial, then we sold. We know what to do. We're gonna be doing some more giveaways later on this year. Our 10th episode is next week. So
Ooh, Big 10.
Yeah.
the Big 10. So trying to see what we can do. But Again, thank you guys for showing up and for coming through.
Big thanks to Gus as well.
Who? Who?
Dio knows who Gus is.
Don't be calling out people I can't see in the chat. Gosh. All right, but anyways, thank you guys so much. This is Ebonics. Dio.
Thank you guys.
And
CJ.
done.
Awesome. This is the Digital Cypher Podcast signing out.
Peace.